Whoever understands these words will never grow old again. For centuries, the human body has been studied as a machine, but never as a mystery. Yet there was a man who saw it not as flesh and blood, but as light, consciousness, and vibration. His name was Ankaras, and he was called mad, a heretic, and even immortal. Not because he lived forever, but because he claimed that death, as we understand it, was just another program. This book, written by his own hand, was sealed in a secret library in the monastery of Abelion, and, according to the records, disappeared the night the torches went out in a golden glow. No one ever saw Ankaras again, only this remained: a manuscript, a map, a forbidden secret to rejuvenate not the body, but the consciousness. They say that whoever reads it will never look at themselves in the mirror the same way again, because they will discover that the mirror has never reflected their body, but rather their beliefs about it. What you will find in these pages is a true map to reprogram your aging from the subconscious, how to activate your dormant quantum biology, recover your regenerative power, foods that do not age, remember how to heal without depending on anything outside of yourself. This is not an audiobook, it is a reconfiguration, a door that opens from the inside. Now that the book has been opened, you can no longer believe that you are destined to fade, because here begins your rebirth, because this is the secret of Ankaras. If these first words have ignited something inside you, let me know right away with a like. It's not a trivial gesture. That little thumbs up is our secret code, the way the universe whispers to us, I'm here, I'm listening, we're on the same frequency. Every like of yours is a yes that amplifies this energy. And if you want to be part of those who go beyond, of those who don't just watch but belong to this revolution of awareness, then subscribe to the premium channel. It's not a simple subscription, it's a pact between allied souls, where you receive content that shakes the soul and we receive the sap to continue creating. Decide now. Do you want to be a spectator or part of the change? Chapter 1: The Body Does Not Forget. The Quantum Keys to Rejuvenation. You don't age because the years pass, you age because you forget. As a child, my grandmother told me that the body remembers things that the mind cannot. I didn't understand it. I thought she was referring to scars, pains, or old wounds. But over time I discovered that she was talking about something much bigger. Because the body doesn't forget the truth. It just waits for you to remember it. My name is Ankaras, and I wasn't born wise or immortal. I was sick, weak, old before my time, until I understood what no one had taught me. That aging is not a law, it's a poorly learned language. For years I believed that the years wore us down, that our skin sagged under gravity, that our cells withered because they were meant to. Then I saw something that changed everything. It happened in a monastery in the south, where the monks lived in silence and agelessness. One of them was over 110 years old, yet his eyes were brighter than a child's. I approached him one afternoon and asked, "How do you do it? How do you stay young?" He looked at me and in a low voice said, "Because I have never accepted having to grow old." That night I didn't sleep. For the first time I doubted the world and began to listen to my body, not science. Old age is not a consequence, it is a program. Everything around us trains us to grow old. Words, birthdays, advertisements, diagnoses. Since we are children, we hear that growing up means losing, but no one teaches us that we can also unlearn it. New research in quantum biology, although not said out loud, is beginning to confirm what the ancient sages already knew, that every thought is a chemical order and every emotion a vibrational signal that the body translates. Bruce Lipton explained it clearly. Our cells do not act on genes but on signals, and those signals do not come from chance but from your consciousness. Have you ever wondered why two people of the same age can look like they are from different decades? Or why some people get younger when they fall in love, travel, or get rid of an old sadness? It's not magic, it's consciousness. It's energy that changes your internal state and with it your physical state. Your body obeys what you believe you are. There is something that science cannot yet quantify, the impact of identity, because it's not just the skin that ages, it's the image we have of ourselves. If every day you tell yourself that it is too late, that you are too old to change, that your time has passed, then your body listens, the cells take it as an order, and like faithful soldiers, they carry out that signal. But if you start talking to your body from a different vibration, something changes, not immediately, not like a potion, but like someone coming home. Slowly, as I began to tell my cells that I still had time, that I was not a body but an energy that inhabited it, I noticed that my breathing deepened, that the pain disappeared for a while, that my skin began to glow again after years of dullness. And I understood something that I want you to remember too. Your body does not want to age, it is just waiting for another instruction. Cellular memory and youth of the soul. Modern science speaks of epigenetics, but the ancients called it the memory of light. Each cell, they say, contains not only your biological history, but the vibration of your most repeated thoughts. It is not poetry, it is frequency. Joe Dispenza proved it. Those who meditate deeply can activate cellular regeneration genes. You don't have to take my word for it. Look at those who have been healed beyond explanation, people without hope who suddenly regain their health. Medicine calls it a miracle, but to us it is only a memory, because healing is the art of returning to who you were before the fear. And now I speak directly to you. Your age and diagnosis do not matter. As long as you are alive, there are cells listening, and what you say, think, and feel will be their nourishment. If you say you are tired, they will turn off. If you say you are just getting started, they will turn on. That's why today I want to invite you to a symbolic act. Place your hands on your heart, breathe deeply and say to your body, "Thank you for waiting. I'm back." Because if you do this every day, your body will remember. And if your body remembers, it doesn't age. It comes back. In the next chapter, you will discover how your thoughts, even the most subtle ones, can alter your DNA and transform it into a channel of youth. Your biology is already listening to you. You just have to talk to it differently. Chapter 2. Your biology listens to your thoughts. Every thought is a seed, and your body is the garden. For years I believed that thinking was harmless, that what happened inside me remained there in silence without consequences. But I was deeply wrong, and I didn't discover it with a book, I discovered it when I got sick. It was a dark time. My skin was wrinkling, my organs were showing signs of failure, and medicine said it was age. But I felt that it wasn't my body that was dying, it was my thoughts that were shutting it down. I had spent years telling myself things that seemed small. I am not enough, I do not have time, it is too late. But they were slow knives, invisible cuts that my biology began to obey. It was then that I understood. The body does not distinguish between what you experience and what you think with emotion. The chemistry of a thought is more powerful than genetics. Dr. Candace Pert discovered what no one had demonstrated so clearly. Emotions generate neuropeptides, molecules that travel through the body, carrying the message of what we feel. If you feel fear, you create substances that alter the immune system. If you feel love, you produce chemicals that regenerate. If you repeat sadness, the body stops producing what keeps it alive. And here is the real mystery. You don't have to experience a tragedy to get sick. Just imagine it over and over again. The body doesn't know if you're running from a lion or reliving an old fight. To it, what you think is. What do you say to your cells every day? The majority live on autopilot. They think without monitoring themselves. They talk about themselves as if they were broken objects. They say, "I have a terrible memory, I'm always tired, I'm not the same as I used to be." And the body obeys, not because it is weak, but because it is designed to adapt to the consciousness that inhabits it. Dr. Emoto demonstrated this with his studies on water. Molecules respond to words, music, intention. Water changes if you insult it and becomes beautiful if you bless it. And what is your body if not water in motion? Your DNA is not destiny. It is a keyboard that you play without realizing it. For centuries, we have been taught that we are born with a fixed code, that genes are the sealed destiny of what we will be. But today we know, and Bruce Lipton has shown it, that the environment can change how that code expresses itself. And the most powerful environment is not the air or the climate, it is your internal environment, mental dialogue, perception of yourself, emotional world. Every time you repeat something, biology listens, especially if you do it with emotion. That is why an affirmation without feeling has no power. But if you tell yourself, I am coming back to life, with every cell vibrating in that certainty, the body reorganizes, hormones change, the immune system rises, wounds heal. When I changed my way of thinking, I did not do it with force, but with awareness. I did not fight old thoughts, I planted new ones. Every morning before opening my eyes, I repeated, my body is a temple of living energy. My biology listens to me and responds, today is a day to regenerate. Nothing happened for a week, but by the third week my heartbeat was steady. By the fourth, I was sleeping like a baby. After months, I felt like I had traveled back in time. It wasn't a miracle, it was the coherence between what I said and what I believed possible. If you change your mind, your body changes with you. I'm not here to convince you, but to remind you of what you already knew as a child. That every time you got emotional, your body would shine. And every time you were broken, your body would break. Thought is energy, emotion is its amplifier, and your biology is a temple that obeys the sound that resonates in it. So today I invite you to choose a phrase, an affirmation that does not come from the mind, but from the soul, and repeat it every day, like someone who plants a flower in the desert. If you nourish it, it will grow, and where there is life, there is no old age. In the next chapter, I will show you something even more invisible but real, the energetic map that surrounds your body and how its alignment can activate or block the youth that already lives in you. Chapter 3: The Body's Energy Field, Your Map of Health and Youth. You are not just a body, you are a light that envelops a body. In the eyes of the world, we are flesh, but in the eyes of the soul, we are energy breathing through matter. Although the senses do not easily perceive it, the body is surrounded by a vibrational field that reveals more than any medical examination. They called it the aura, the electromagnetic field. The ancients drew it in sacred figures, unaware that one day science would tear that veil. Today, I know that field is not symbolic, it is real, and it reflects your state of health, your level of consciousness, and even your aging. Everything that happens inside you first happens outside. I discovered this by chance. An old mountain healer asked me to stand in silence in front of a lake. He said, "Don't listen to the water. Listen to what vibrates behind it." And as I did so, for the first time, I felt my field. It was like a gentle current around my skin, a silent breath that did not come from my lungs. What you feel, he told me, is your energy body. If it is clean, the physical body regenerates. If it is broken, the body withers. I didn't fully understand that day, but years later, I saw how sick people for no apparent reason had a fragmented aura and how healthy but dull people showed a dull and dense field. I learned then that the body ages when the energy field is blocked. You are living electricity. Modern science is starting to say it. The body generates a measurable electromagnetic field. The heart has a more powerful electrical impulse than the brain, and every emotion alters that field. Caroline Myss called it energetic anatomy. She said that every organ has a vibrational counterpart, and that unexpressed emotions crystallize in the body as energetic blockages. I saw this in myself. When I held on to a sadness for years, I developed a heaviness in my chest that no doctor could explain. But when I started working with my energy, the pain disappeared without pills. How do you know if your field is aligned? It's easier than it seems. You don't need to see your aura. Just feel. Do you wake up feeling light or heavy? Is your mind clear or foggy? Does your body respond with vitality or resistance? When your field is clear, your body doesn't age the same. It moves better, sleeps better, heals faster, not because it's young, but because there's no interference. Energy centers, living portals to the soul. Many people mock chakras without understanding them. They believe them to be esoteric concepts, but each one represents a specific function of the body and psyche. The first, connection with the earth, survival. The second, pleasure, joy, movement. The third, identity, personal power. The fourth, love, compassion, regeneration. The fifth, voice, truth. The sixth, intuition, vision. The seventh, spiritual connection. If one of these is blocked, the body ages more in that area. I have seen faces hardened by fear of expressing themselves, backs curved by insecurity, hands shaking from not having given what the heart wanted to offer. Energy doesn't lie, it just waits to be heard. Recalibrating your field means allowing the body to remember its original design. How to do it? Start with silence, then breathe gently, and visualize a light that surrounds you. That light doesn't come from outside, it comes from you, from the consciousness that inhabits your cells. Do it every day. For 5 minutes upon awakening, place one hand on your chest, the other on your abdomen, and listen. The body knows what to do. It just needs to be deprogrammed from noise and reprogrammed with truth. All rejuvenation begins in the field, then manifests in the skin. Before a wrinkle appears, there is a belief. Before a pain takes root, there is a held emotion. And before disease touches the flesh, there is an energetic imbalance. You are not broken, you are just misaligned, and your field can return to its rhythm if you return to your center. In the next chapter, you will discover how to speak directly to your cells, not with words, but with vibration, and how that forgotten language can stop time. Chapter 4: Reprogramming the Cell. The vibrational language to change your age. Your age is not written on the calendar, it is written in the vibration you emit every day. I believed that the body had an expiration date, that beyond any cure, biology had the final say. But everything changed the day I saw a 70-year-old woman reverse her diagnosis and become younger in a few months, not with drugs or surgery, but with something older and more forgotten: vibration. She didn't talk about youth, she emitted it, and her body, as if it had received a new instruction, obeyed. That day I understood. It is not about fighting aging, but about teaching the body a new frequency. Every cell has memory, but also hearing. Science talks about epigenetics, the ability of the environment to modify gene expression without altering DNA. And that environment can also be sound, intention, emotion. I saw it with my own eyes. An ancient healer placed his hands on the chests of the sick and murmured an almost imperceptible melody. It was not a song, it was a precise vibration, and the bodies like tuned strings began to resonate differently. I asked him how he did it, and he said, "Cells are like instruments. If you play the right note, they tune themselves." Bruce Lipton confirmed it. Cells respond to environmental stimuli, not just genes. And the most powerful stimulus is not diet or climate, it's the vibration you hold inside. An emotion sustained for minutes generates a biochemical field. An emotion repeated for days changes the cellular state. An emotion experienced for years becomes biology. Ask yourself, what do you say to your cells with your usual emotions? Do you speak to them with fear or with power? Do you tell them they are aging or coming back to life? Reprogramming is not commanding, it is remembering. I didn't force my cells to rejuvenate, I just stopped telling them they were dying. Every morning, instead of looking for wrinkles in the mirror, I looked at myself in silence and said, "Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for listening to me." And something began to change, not on the outside, but on the inside. A glow in the skin, a lightness in the step, a different presence. It wasn't just the body, it was its vibration that rose, as if I was finally listening to a voice forgotten for years, mine. But how to speak to the body in its language? It's not about repeating empty phrases, but about emitting frequency. generated by three elements: clear intention, knowing what you want to activate, such as vitality, youth, regeneration; authentic emotion, feeling what you say as if it were already happening; rhythm and repetition, training the body as an instrument. Here's a simple practice that transformed me. Close your eyes, put your hands on your heart, breathe slowly, and as you exhale, silently repeat, "My cells vibrate with youth. Every beat renews me." Do this for 5 minutes a day without looking for results. And when you stop waiting, the body begins to respond. Sound heals too. Fabian Mamon demonstrated that certain musical frequencies alter cellular structure, not magically, but physically. I use Tibetan bowls, mantras, even my voice, and so exhausted bodies respond more to a loving tone than to 10 vitamins. The body is not nourished only by food, but by vibration. If the environment is harmonious, the body remembers its original rhythm. You are the frequency you seek. You do not need a guru or the perfect melody. You emit a note every time you breathe with gratitude, smile with presence, say to yourself, "I'm coming home." And when that vibration becomes your new language, the cell updates itself, the body reorganizes itself, and age becomes irrelevant. In the next chapter, you will discover one of the most powerful tools to activate that inner vibration: sound. Chapter 5: The Frequency of Rejuvenation, Vibration, Sound, and Healing. Your body is an instrument just waiting to be tuned. There are sounds that heal and others that make you sick. I discovered this not by reading, but by listening. One winter night, while everyone was sleeping, someone played a Tibetan bowl in the monastery hall. I didn't see it, I heard it. And that sound didn't just vibrate in the air, it vibrated in me. It pierced my chest as if it remembered something ancient that the body knew, but the mind had forgotten. Since then, I stopped looking for cures only in plants or words and started listening to sound as medicine. Every cell vibrates, every organ has its note. Fabien Mamon, a French musician and acupuncturist, discovered that every cell reacts to music. He placed cancer cells in front of specific sounds and observed how they disorganized with dissonant frequencies, but harmonized with specific notes. Music not only excites, it orders, and I'm not talking about symphonies, but about your voice, your thoughts, your environment. Every sound leaves a mark in your field, and that mark shapes your health. The body even hears silence, but responds more strongly to harmony. On my journey, I met an old blind man who healed only with singing. His voice was off-key, but true. He sang with intention, and people came out different, not because he healed them, but because his vibration awakened theirs. One day, he told me something I never forgot. No disease resists the correct vibration. You just have to remember it. Frequencies that rejuvenate. Some cultures have known this for centuries. Gregorian chants, Vedic mantras, shamanic sounds, they all had one purpose: to activate energy centers and restore the inner connection. Today we know that certain frequencies have specific effects on the body. 528 Hz, the love frequency, linked to cellular repair. 432 Hz, the natural resonance of the universe, calms and aligns. 396 Hz dissolves fear and guilt, aging emotions. These are not theories, they are measurable vibrations with effects on brain activity, heart rate, and emotional state. The voice, your forgotten instrument. You don't need bowls or devices. Your voice can reprogram your biology. It's not about singing well, but about vibrating with awareness. Try this. Sit quietly. Put your hand on your chest. Inhale deeply and make a long, soft ah, feeling your chest vibrate. Do this for 3 minutes, then listen, not with your ears, but with your body. Something melts, sparkles, awakens. Because vibration is life, and life always wants to express itself. Mantra, sound codes of the soul. A mantra is not a magic word. It is a sequence of sounds that alters consciousness. In Sanskrit, mantra means tool of thought. I used one that a Tibetan master gave me. Soham, I am that. Repeating it, something in me melted and reorganized. It was as if the sound was weaving my energy field with invisible threads. You don't have to believe it, repeat it and feel it. Because what rejuvenates is not faith, it is the vibration that reaches the exact point. Harmony vibrates stronger than any diagnosis. I have seen bodies condemned by science regain splendor with music, songs, sounds of the soul. Not by magic, but because vibration is the matrix of every form. And if you change the vibration, you change the form. The skin, the blood, the breath, everything adapts. That's why I say that rejuvenation does not begin with a cream, but with a sound. In the next chapter, you will discover how breathing can become your most powerful alchemy, because air not only keeps you alive, it can give you back the life you thought was lost. Chapter 6: Breathing as Alchemy, Activating Dormant Vital Energy. You don't age for lack of years, you age for lack of air. For a long time, I breathed like everyone else, without thinking, without feeling, believing that air was just an automatic function, an act of survival. Then I met a 92-year-old woman who looked no older than 50. Her skin was smooth, her eyes bright, her voice strong, as if she were just born. When I asked her the secret, she didn't talk about herbs or genetics. She just said, I learned to breathe as if life were coming back to me with every inhalation, and as if all the old was leaving me with every exhalation. That day I understood, breathing is not just air, it is intelligent energy, consciousness in motion, and those who breathe with their soul alter time inside their body. Your breath is your first act of creation. The first sound you made at birth was not a word, it was a breath. And the last gesture at death will be an exhalation. Everything that happens between the two depends on how you breathe. Fear shortens the breath, sadness clouds it, love expands it, consciousness transforms it. When you breathe unconsciously, you survive. When you breathe with intention, something changes. You regenerate. Science confirms it. Breathing changes biology. Wim Hof, the Iceman, demonstrated that he could alter his immune system just by breathing. It is not a special gift. It is a technique that you too can remember. Studies show that deep rhythmic breathing reduces inflammation, regulates stress hormones, and activates genes linked to longevity. But beyond the science, I felt it in me. During a deep breathing practice, something unlocked in my spine. I felt a warm current rising from the base of my body to the top of my head. It wasn't imagination, it was vital energy, dormant and now awake. Pranayama, the forgotten art of breathing with power. The ancient yogis knew it. Prana is vital energy, ayama its expansion. Breathing is not filling the lungs, it is activating subtle circuits. A practice that changed my biological rhythm was Nadi Shodhana, alternate breathing. It purifies the energy channels and balances the cerebral hemispheres. Do it like this. Sit quietly, close the right nostril with the thumb. Inhale through the left. Close the left with the ring finger and exhale through the right. Then inhale through the right and repeat the cycle. Do this for 5 minutes. Then listen to the body. Breathe as if it were the first day of your life. Oxygen not only nourishes, it ignites. Every cell needs oxygen, but not just any oxygen, conscious oxygen. When you breathe from the abdomen, slowly, deeply, with presence, you say to the nervous system, I am safe, I can heal, there is no rush. And then the body goes from defense mode to regeneration mode. This is alchemy, not turning lead into gold, but tension into life energy, air into life. Your youth is not lost, it sleeps only in your breathing. In the darkest moments when I felt I was aging more inside than out, I returned to the air. Not the outside air, but the air as consciousness. I breathed in light, breathed out weight, and slowly the energy returned, not as a storm, but as a gentle breeze that remembered my name. Make breathing a daily ritual. You don't have to change your whole life. Stop 3 times a day and breathe with your soul. Close your eyes, inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 4, remain in the void for another 4. Do it like someone knocking on a door that opens inward, where youth is not bought, it awakens. In the next chapter, you will discover that what you eat not only nourishes your body, but also your energy field, and that some foods age, while others stimulate youth. Chapter 7: Foods That Don't Age. Vibrational Nutrition. You are not what you eat, you are what your body feels when you eat it. For years I ate to survive, then for pleasure, then to heal. But what really transformed me was learning to eat to vibrate. Because not all foods sustain life, some fill, some uplift. I discovered that there are foods that, while seemingly healthy, weigh down the soul, and others that, while simple, shine with energy. I learned this from a woman with a degenerative disease. Her body collapsed, but her gaze did not. "What did you do to heal?" I asked her. She replied, "I started eating only what vibrates with love and does not let go." The body is not nourished only by nutrients, but by frequency. Modern medicine studies calories, proteins, vitamins, but ancient wisdom looked at something more subtle: the vital energy in food. Ayurveda calls it prana, the Chinese qi, the mystic's living light. A freshly picked food contains that light. A processed, frozen, or altered food loses it. And although science can't always measure it, the body feels it. Because when you eat something alive, the energy field expands. When you eat something dead, it contracts. How do you know if a food rejuvenates or ages? You don't need a lab. Observe. Do you feel lighter or heavier after eating it? Does it give you energy or put you to sleep? Does your skin glow or become dull? Does digestion flow or stall? Rejuvenating foods don't just heal your organs, they raise your frequency. And by raising your frequency, your body stops degrading and starts renewing itself. Here are some that are always on my table: fresh, ripe fruits, especially those grown in the sun: grapes, mangoes, blackberries; leafy greens, spinach, basil, watercress; live seeds, chia, flax, sesame; sprouts, pure life expanding; raw honey, high vibration liquid gold; structured or spring water, which not only hydrates but harmonizes. And most of all, eat in peace. Because the most perfect food can become toxic if ingested with anger, haste, or guilt. What makes you age is not always what you think. It is not just sugar or fat. It is the disconnection from what you eat. It is eating in front of a screen. It is swallowing without gratitude. It is devouring without listening to the body. Many processed foods have clean labels but broken vibrations because they were created without love, without consciousness, without soul, and the body feels it. Cooking is an act of alchemy. When you cook, you transfer your inner state to the plate. If you do it with presence, you create medicine. If you do it with tension, you create cellular confusion. That is why blessing food is not an empty ritual. It is a way to encode vibration. Before eating, I place my hands on the plate, breathe and say, "May this food awaken in me the life that I do not yet know." And then I eat not as one who fills himself, but as one who honors. The hunger of the soul cannot be satisfied by food, but food can remind you of who you are. Every bite is an opportunity to heal, to vibrate higher, to return to the essentials. It's not about perfection, but about consistency. To ask yourself before you eat, does this bring me closer to life or further away from it? If the answer resonates, move on, because your body will thank you. In the next chapter, you'll discover that while you sleep, an intelligence within you works to regenerate you, and you'll learn how to turn sleep into the quantum laboratory of your youth. Chapter 8: Restorative Sleep, Your Quantum Rejuvenation Lab. While you sleep, a part of you wakes up to repair everything. For years I slept without rest. My body was in bed, but my soul was still at war. I dreamed with fear, I woke with weariness, and every morning I was older. I didn't understand why until a wise elder told me. True rest comes not from the length of your sleep, but from the depths of your surrender. That night I surrendered, not as one who flees, but as one who returns. And for the first time, sleep enveloped me like an invisible temple. When I awoke, I hadn't just slept, I had healed. Sleep is the laboratory where the body silently repairs itself. During the day, you think, do, consume, resist. At night, the body activates its master plan. Science confirms it. During deep sleep, hormones such as melatonin and GH are released, tissues regenerate, toxins are eliminated, the immune system reorganizes. The brain does not rest, it reprograms. And if you sleep with awareness, even thoughts are purified. Joe Dispenza explained it. Brain waves in deep sleep are similar to those of the highest meditation. Sleeping well is a way to access the quantum field. But not all sleep is regenerative. Sleeping 8 hours is not enough because you can sleep too much and wake up exhausted. The reason is the vibrational quality with which you enter sleep. If you sleep with fear, worry, or anger, the body does not enter healing mode. It remains trapped in the frequencies of stress. Instead of rejuvenating, it rusts. Sleeping is not switching off. It is surrendering, entering the void with trust, allowing the inner wisdom to do its work. How to prepare the body for regenerative sleep. Here's what I do every night. Sacred silence. I turn off all stimulation an hour earlier. Deep breaths for 5 minutes. I inhale light. I exhale weight. I give silent thanks for at least 3 things that happened during the day. I declare a sweet phrase. While I sleep, my body regenerates with love. I sleep in total darkness because melatonin needs darkness. And when I fall asleep like this, it's no longer rest, it's nocturnal alchemy. Dreams also speak. On some nights I have received answers in symbols, a forest opening up, a light touching my face, a voice not mine whispering truths never read. Not all dreams are mental discharges. Some are visits, others messages from the soul. A few are energetic downloads. This is why it is sacred to sleep with the intention of healing, because the soul listens. Poor sleep is one of the greatest accelerators of aging. When you neglect rest, the body loses its internal rhythm, unbalanced hormones, high inflammation, a foggy mind, cells that age faster. But when you honor rest as a spiritual practice, the body responds and rejuvenates even in sleep. True rest is an act of trust. Trust that you can let go of control, that the body knows how to heal, that even if you don't see what's happening, something sacred is activating in you. Every night is an opportunity to die to the old and be reborn lighter, cleaner, more yourself. In the next chapter, you'll discover that DNA is not a genetic prison, but a living code that you can activate from your consciousness. Because your thoughts don't just affect cells, they can awaken dormant information. Chapter 9. Recoding DNA from Consciousness. Your DNA is not a sentence. It is a score that responds only to the music of your consciousness. For centuries, we believed that DNA was destiny, invisible letters that dictated what we would be, what we would suffer, even when we died. But I discovered in the silence of meditation and in the eyes of the wise that this was not entirely true. DNA is a code, yes, but not a closed one. It is a living language that responds to what you think, feel, and believe. I saw it with a little girl. She had a genetic disease that was thought to be irreversible, but her mother, instead of giving up, rewrote the emotional environment. She surrounded her with love, music, and images of health, and the little girl began to heal. The DNA stayed the same, but the body interpreted it differently. Your genetics are not your prison, they are your score, and you are the musician. Greg Braden, a researcher of science and spirituality, demonstrated that human emotions can directly affect the structure of DNA, not by cutting it or chemically altering it, but by folding it, expanding it, turning it on or off. Only 5% of your code is actively expressed. The other 95% is asleep, like a forgotten file, and what activates it is not science, it is consciousness. Sustained thoughts generate biological signals. Every time you experience deep gratitude, cells release biochemicals that change gene expression. Every time you visualize your body young, healthy, expanded, DNA is listening, not with your ears, but with frequency, intention, emotion. It is not superstition, it is quantum physics applied to biology. How to recode DNA? You don't need to manipulate it with complex techniques. You just need to create the internal environment for the dormant information to awaken. Here's what I learned. Emotional coherence, aligning your heart, mind, and breath in the same direction. Guided visualization, seeing your DNA as a spiral of light that gently turns, activated by your presence. Precise words, emotionally declaring phrases like, "My DNA responds to my consciousness," or "My body vibrates in evolution." Quantum silence, entering states of deep meditation where the body turns off and the field turns on. Do it every day, not as an obligation, but as a reunion, because your DNA is not broken. It is just waiting for you to remember the power you carry within. The body knows, but it is waiting for your permission. Once during a long meditation, I felt something I had never felt before. A vibration traveled up my spine to the top of my head. It was not pain, it was sacred fire. And in that moment, I knew that something inside me, something older than my bones, was activating. After that experience, my skin changed, my vision sharpened, my intuition became clearer. It wasn't a miracle. It was the awakening of information that had always been there, but dormant. Your most powerful legacy is not in your genes, but in your consciousness. Many people tell me, "Ankaras, everyone in my family ages badly. How do I break this cycle?" I always answer, you didn't come to repeat, you came to transform. And to transform, you have to speak to the body in a higher language, not with fear or imposition, but with truth. Your DNA is more than just history. It's a bridge between the visible and the invisible, and you choose which side to cross. In the next chapter, you'll discover how to use visualization as a sacred and practical tool to rewrite your physical reality and reverse time from the inside out. Because what you see with your eyes closed can transform what you see with your eyes open. Chapter 10. Visualization. The wise man's technique for reversing time. What you can see with your eyes closed can transform what you see with your eyes open. When I was young, I imagined to escape. I imagined flying, healing, being someone else. And they told me, it's not real. But now I know they were wrong. Because everything you are today was first an image inside you. And if you could imagine pain, failure, old age, you can also imagine healing, strength, and youth. The difference is not in the difficulty, but in the direction of your focus. Visualizing is not fantasizing, it's creating from within. Neville Goddard explained it clearly. Everything you see in the external world is a projection of your internal state, and neuroscience confirms it. When you visualize with emotion and repetition, your brain generates the same patterns that it would activate by living that experience. Muscles, hormones, chemistry, everything reorganizes. You can train youth without moving. You can teach your body how to feel young, directly from your mind. I have accompanied people who were healed only with images. A 60-year-old woman who every morning visualized her glowing skin, her spine straight, her blood clean. In 3 months, her face seemed to rejuvenate. No surgery, no drugs, just the body remembering what it is like to be alive. That's what visualization is, reminding the body of a version of you that the soul has never forgotten. How to use visualization to rejuvenate. Here is the ritual I learned in the temples of the South, where monks meditate not for peace, but for transformation. Choose a moment of silence, ideally upon awakening or before sleeping. Breathe deeply for 5 minutes until your mind calms down. Visualize yourself from within, not as you appear, but as you feel: light, strength, presence. Make it multisensory. Feel the footsteps, the skin, the voice, and repeat a key phrase: I am returning to the body designed to live, not to die. Do this for 20 consecutive days, like someone watering a seed. The body follows the dominant image you hold within. If every time you look in the mirror you see decay, tiredness, loss, the body will obey. But if when you close your eyes, you see yourself vibrant with vitality, beauty, and presence, the biology will adapt to that vision. The hidden power of internal images. The ancient sages knew it. In Egypt, initiates visualized their bodies bathed in blue light before going to sleep. In Tibet, they imagined an internal fire that dissolved old age. In Greece, the Pythagoreans used sacred geometry to visualize the perfection of the body. In shamanic traditions, health was dreamed of while awake. Everyone agreed, what you see inside becomes form outside. It is not magic, it is energetic coherence. When thoughts, emotions, and visualization are aligned, matter reorganizes. Because you are not a body that thinks, you are a consciousness that shapes energy, and energy obeys the clearest vision. Make visualization a sacred habit. You don't have to do it perfectly, you just have to do it consistently, like someone who tunes an instrument every day. Over time, the inner image will become clearer, and the body will become more alive. In the next chapter, you will discover why silence is more powerful than 1,000 words, and how in the void the body remembers its original state of perfection, because when the mind is silent, the soul begins to speak. Last chapter. The body follows the dominant image you hold inside. If you visualize yourself full of life, energy, and health every day, your organism will begin to reorganize itself to correspond to this inner vision. It is not an immediate process, but gradual and constant, like a river that sculpts the rock. Repetition is the key. The more you feed this inner image, the more powerful and real it becomes for your nervous and cellular system. It is not a matter of pretending or deluding yourself, but of reminding the body of its true nature, an intelligent energy field capable of continually regenerating itself. In the silence of meditation, when the mind calms down and distractions disappear, you enter a deeper state of consciousness. This is where visualization becomes especially powerful. Imagine every cell in your body glowing with golden light, vibrating with youthful, vital energy. Feel this light expanding, releasing tension, repairing tissue, rejuvenating organs. It doesn't matter if at first it seems like just a mental exercise. With practice, this image will begin to change your biology on a subtle but real level. The ancient masters taught that the physical body is only the last level of a series of subtler energy bodies. When you work with visualization, you work on these subtle planes first, and the changes then manifest in the physical. This is why so many traditional rejuvenation techniques always begin with the mind and imagination. You are not fooling the body, you are guiding it into a higher frequency of existence, where concepts like age and decay lose their power. Remember, every time you visualize your younger and more vital version, you are sending a clear message to your mind-body system. This message, repeated with constancy and conviction, becomes a command that your organism cannot ignore. The cells respond, the hormones are rebalanced, the regenerative processes are activated. It is not magic, it is applied biophysics. It is the power of the human mind that learns to consciously dialogue with its own body. Thank you for taking this journey through the pages of this manuscript. Thank you for opening your mind to possibilities beyond conventional limits. Thank you for allowing these words to awaken in you the ancient memory of your unlimited potential. Now that you have received this knowledge, the choice is yours. You can close the book and return to your previous life, or you can begin today to experience and live these truths in your flesh, in your breath, in your daily existence. Whether you choose to practice every day or just occasionally, always remember, true rejuvenation is not a goal to be achieved, but a state of consciousness to be inhabited. It is not something you do to your body, but something you become. Every cell of your being is ready to respond when you choose to awaken to your true nature, pure energy, ageless consciousness, limitless life. Now it's your turn. If this video has entered your cells and awakened something you knew but had forgotten, then leave a like that vibrates like a mantra, a comment with a single word, your seed word. Write it now without thinking too much. It will be your energetic signature. And above all, subscribe to the channel. Because here we are not simple creators. We are artisans of awakening, and yours is more than support. It is the gesture of someone who says, I believe in this magic, I want to be part of it, I want it to continue. You are important. Your presence here is not accidental. And if you felt, even for a moment, that these words were yours too, then we already know a beautiful truth. We have never been separated. I wish you to remember every day the light that you already are, to walk knowing that time is an illusion and youth is an energy you choose to inhabit. And when you look up tonight, remember, somewhere, I am already preparing the next spark for you. Until then, stay wild, stay awake, stay untamably alive. See you soon.